Welcome to the Inspired by Jacqueline podcast, a refreshing place for women struggling with entrepreneurship, faith, or infertility. Stay tuned for today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of Inspired by Jacqueline. What do I say always? I have great, amazing guests that just bring magic to this platform. And this person is not going to bring less of the magic. She's just going to double and triple it. So without further ado, I want to start on this conversation because it's just simply going to, I hope you're sitting down in a nice, comfortable couch because you're going to really be in tune with this. So a little short snapshot of who my special guest is today, Rhina Valentin. She is a leading figure in New York City's entertainment industry, a native New Yorker, Afro Boricua, Boricua, and she is a mother, a comedian, a producer, director, writer, an activist, motivational speaker, dancer, a multiple award-winning artist and performer, and a health wellness advocate. She's been recognized as an impact change agent. Wow, that's a big one. But wait, there's a little bit more. Since 2006, Reina has been the host and creative producer of the popular Open Friday talk show on BronxNet TV, advocating arts, culture, entertainment, women empowerment, and mental health awareness. And this is where I had the honor of meeting this beautiful soul, this beautiful being. And Reina, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. What a wonderful introduction. I feel at home. So gracias por tenerme y invitarme.
Yes. And do you want to add anything else to that?
I would like to add that I am also known as La Reina del Barrio, although La Reina del Barrio is actually the name of my company. I have a company called La Reina del Barrio Inc., in which we produce and also market projects, and they're generally or usually self-financed.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So, first question. How do you start your mornings?
So the first thing I do in the morning is I give myself a few moments from the time that I open my eyes to just bask in the reality that today is a new day, and I'm blessed to wake up under the safety of my home, I should say, in my room. And sometimes I'll wrap myself in like an imaginary ribbon just to allow myself the grace in waking up gradually. I find that allowing myself to do so, it just shifts the narrative of how the day is going to be. And then I wake up and I go and I sit in my chair by the window and I meditate. I am a transcendental meditator, and it is a daily practice in which is habitual. I've been a transcendental meditator since 2016, and it's almost like brushing my teeth. So it's part of my daily practice. And then to amplify that, I go down to my club level and I swim for 45 minutes.
I will say that I've seen your Instagram posts and it just brings like a calmness to me. I was like, I'm not a swimmer, but I love and enjoy watching your swimming.
It's a newfound love. I mean, I've always been a swimmer, but this habitual practice is a newfound love. And I like to consider it a calling from the water. Because initially I decided to take this on. So just so you know, within my building, we have to make reservations in order to lock in that 45 minutes. And it's like a weekly practice. Like at 12 o'clock noon, the sessions open up and I'm like trucking away to make sure I get my sessions in on the days that I'm able to swim, and the time especially, right? Because I like to start off my day. I usually swim at 8 o'clock in the morning. And so We can talk about water until we
Mhm.
become blue in the face, okay? Because listen to me, I took this on obviously for physical purposes, right? Because I was like, okay, I'm not really working out. I did train for the New York City Marathon, just so you know.
Oh,
I
wow.
completed the New York City Marathon, the TCS New York City Marathon in 2014. And
Ooh.
I suffered a toe injury from that completion that never allowed me to go back to running on the scale that I did. And so then COVID hit, and then all the layers of weight started like piling on. And after that, it became a little challenging for me to get into the groove
Yeah.
of even wanting to be in the gym, right? I've never really been a gym person. I'm more of like, okay, I need to do something, some kind of activity that I enjoy. It could be roller skating, it could be dancing, it could be, whatever, paddle playing. I used to play paddle ball, and I never did tennis too much, but, paddle, handball, urban. And
Mhm.
so the swimming has always been accessible to me, and I never really took advantage of it. And now that I do swim, I have found this new, like, and I want to say really intense relationship to water. And that is what really draws me to have this become almost like a habitual practice that I absolutely need, because that's
Mhm.
where I'm at now with the swimming. And I want to say, in allowing myself and immersing myself in the water. And even though I am doing a lot of laps within the 45 minutes, I'm doing them at my own pace and I'm doing it my way. My communication with the water is very meditative as well. So I consider what I do Zen swimming.
Well, I can feel it through watching it on Instagram. It just doesn't feel like regular swimming. It is just, I feel your joy, I feel your peace. So I am in agreement that it's a Zen moment for you and it's transitioning into me as that.
And being on the outside of
Yeah.
experiencing it. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'm reading this new book called The Creative Act, A Way of Being, and I've
I
bought some
have
books.
that book. Somebody gave me that book.
This book is amazing.
Oh my gosh. I haven't read it yet, but someone gave me that book.
This book is amazing.
Wow.
It definitely, it resonates with me deeply, so much that I'm highlighting certain areas. Because the other thing I do after I meditate before I go down to swim is I read like a chapter in the book, because I'm really in a quiet state.
Mhm.
And today, interesting enough, there's this one little sentence that stood out for me that I said, oh my gosh, I have to share this with Jacqueline when we talk about the swimming. And it says, it is said that the ocean provides a closer reflection of who we are than any mirror.
Hmm.
Now, while I am not exercising swimming in the ocean on a daily basis, water is water. And
Mhm.
when you swim in the water, there is a reflection that occurs in just looking at yourself through the water, being immersed in the water, the exchange of the motion with the water, the bubbles. Like when I swim, I'm having this communication exchange with the water. And
Yeah.
it is also said that water is the element of change,
Mm.
which is why they use it for rebirth. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm rebirthing myself every time I take a swim in the water.
Wow. And I wanted to share that piece, that how it transcends onto me when I watch you. It's just definitely a Zen moment. Before we get to, let's say, meditation, how did you get into being an entrepreneur?
So I like identifying myself as a mompreneur, because the reason I became an entrepreneur is because I needed to have control of my time.
Mm.
And I identify as a mompreneur because I schedule my life around my daughter. I consider being a mom my primary occupation. I committed to my daughter when she was born that I was going to be her primary caregiver. Now, I do understand that not everybody has the opportunity or the ability to provide in that manner, and some may not even want to. I did. And I did to the point that I left a job that I've always worked in the field of arts in some form, right? And when I gave birth to my daughter, I was on maternity leave, both from Open and the Children's Aid Society. I was the artistic theater director for a middle school after school program in which I had to facilitate 3 days a week, just like maybe 3 hours a day. And I'll never forget. And I was sharing this story with my daughter the day that I had to go back, and how I showed up in tears because I had to leave my daughter in someone else's care.
Mm.
And it just, that didn't resonate with me. And I cried to my supervisor and I said, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to leave this job because I can't see myself raising other people's children while my daughter is in the care of someone else.
Wow. Mm.
And that was a huge risk I took because that was income that I was
Mhm.
generating. And then at that point, I decided, well, I'm going to have to develop my company.
Mm.
And I needed to develop my company in a way that fulfills me as an artist. And that's how I became a producer, so that I was able to self-employ, generate revenue, and still create in the process.
Wow, that is just simply amazing. And I am sure that the road was not easy. What's probably one or two examples that you would share in reference to being a mompreneur and needing to sustain yourself?
So because I'm in the field of media, and because my initial goal was to be a comedic actor in a sitcom, right? I did the whole LA thing. I did the whole like pursue acting. I've done multiple productions. I've even won awards performing off Broadway and things of that nature. But once I started weighing out the time investment versus the return, and that's the producer in me, I basically took a back seat
Mhm.
in that arena. I am a performance poet. I am a published poet. I've been published twice, and I love performing. However, for me, it was more important to be present to my daughter. And I was very afraid of, let's say, getting booked for a film that would take me away for weeks on end. And I would be sacrificing my time with my daughter. And, for some people that may work. For me, I knew it wasn't going to work. And even still, I'm still struggling with she's in high school now, and she
Mm, wow.
reminds me, she's like, Mom, I'm in high school now. You can kind of go back. And I am, little by little, the stage is calling me. I actually have a few performances coming up. One is poetry,
Awesome.
and I'm being asked to do up a stand-up comedy bit.
Ooh.
I'm always hosting galas and things of that nature. So I have a very busy month coming up. Actually, a very busy season between March, April, May, and June.
Mm.
However, I want to say the hunger and the drive to really perform in productions of acting and films and stage, that's really what took the back seat for me.
And so what did you do to get back to that? Or when did it come about that you are ready to continue, but also still have your platform as a mom?
So I want to say part of the reason, so this is another topic of discussion that comes up a lot. Some people, I want to say, undervalue the service that I have been providing for the past 17 years, going on 18 in May of 2024, as the host and creative producer of Open on BronxNet Television. A lot of people question why I haven't moved to the next level.
Mhm.
And part of the reason is because I, again, have been very deliberate about the time that I need to be there for my daughter.
Mhm.
And because I've been on air and I've been this platform, or I've served on a platform and have been able to advocate artists and exchange with artists and, all kinds of magnificent human beings. I've been able to fulfill a certain part of my artistry. I want to say I converted it into media arts, kind of, sort of, right? Even though that wasn't a major of mine. And even though being a talk show host was not the plan, but obviously the universe decided otherwise. And I realized that this is the role in which I was needed. And I continue to understand, with the understanding that I'm serving, and it also fulfills me, because people like yourself, when you walk
Yeah.
away feeling some kind of way, I know I did what I was called to do.
Some people might not understanding that there's certain different phases to our lives, different chapters, different, journeys and different doors that we have to go through, but it's our unique journey. And I'm blessed that you are still a talk show host, that I was able to connect with you. So from that, when did you realize that you were impacting lives and becoming a change agent?
So at first, I had to embrace the fact that I was no longer going to be like the shining star, right? Right? Even though I want to say I still shine,
You're
but
always shining. I love your vibe and everything about you.
I appreciate that very much, so very much more than you can imagine. I'm receiving it,
Mm.
right? And so, meaning I'm receiving the energy that you're
Mhm.
sending my way.
Yeah.
And I struggled with like not being the comedic performer. I won awards as an actor. I
Mhm.
studied acting. I committed 3 years of my life to mastering a particular technique. I went to a conservatory. I went to the William Esper studio, and I mastered in Meisner. Like that was going to be my destiny, right? And so, because I'm on air, and by the way, I do want to make note that I was discovered to be in this role while I had a residency at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, in which I was the creator and producer and host of this avant-garde show that we would present every month called La Reina's Barrio. And it was like Carnival style. So I've always had like this different, unique, out there, approach to my storytelling style. And so when I was discovered to be this host for their signature show, and I was granted a certain level of freedom to for it to be designed around my personality, I felt at home. I felt like, well, at least I could be comedic. At least I could dress funky. At least I could be my boho, flavored self. At least we can talk about topics that interest me.
Yeah.
And so it became like my home.
Yeah.
And I've been okay. And I gotta say that my only disappointment is that we have not been able to expand outside of the region. Although BronxNet Television is primarily in the Bronx, it does air in the other boroughs as well.
Mm.
And as you know, because it's available online, that makes it global.
Yeah.
However, for whatever reason, because I'm not on a major network, people underestimate the impact.
Yes.
But consistency is everything.
Yes.
And so, on that note, I have been able to continue creating in the process, right? Because I host a show every week, and it's a pre-production process every single week. Once Monday kicks in, me and my producer start going into it. And, but I've been doing it for 17 years now. It's like second nature to me. And so that I've been able to, I want to say, refine my abilities to actually run an entire show while being inside of it. And that's the part that people don't really get, is that I play a large role in a lot of my productions, in being on the outside of it, like being part of the creative process, having influential, opinions when it comes to the creative aspect of it. And And I've formulated wonderful relationships with some extremely reputable institutions such as Lincoln Center. I have an annual event that goes up at Lincoln Center that is actually umbrellaed under my production company, La Reina del Barrio. And I have an annual series called Latine Luminaries, in which we present at the David Rubenstein Atrium during Hispanic Heritage Month, our token month, and it's simultaneously recorded for television, and we have two in the can, and they're both still in post-production, but we're actually putting us on record in a way that is designed from my mind.
And so talk to me about your inner powers of peace and meditation that has helped you through challenges and struggles.
So as you can probably see and feel, and even if someone is just listening to me, I'm very high energy. I'm like very,
but a positive high energy. I felt from the beginning.
And I appreciate that, because that's work. It ain't fake.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, some people can walk around and they can act like they're one way, but I'm coming from a genuine place. I'm fully authentic. I'm not perfect. My life isn't perfect, but I definitely know how to transform any doubts and or obstacles that may present themselves when pushing forward, right? Because we all go through it as human beings. And because I identify first and foremost as a spiritualist, and through my spirituality, I trust whatever presents itself to be the guide in the moment, right? It could be my ancestors, it could be earth products like crystals, things that come directly from the mother herself. It could be technology that I've learned in physics. It could be plants. It could be deities. Whatever way it wants to present itself, I honor it. My primary practice is Buddhism. I am a Nichiren Daishonin Buddhist. I do chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and it is my most profound practice because its philosophy is transforming poison into medicine. So it's about transforming your karma. Now, my primary practice every single day is transcendental meditation. And anything that complements that, I welcome. Once something starts dictating what I can and cannot do, I don't engage in it. It just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. And I have nothing against anybody who has chosen to practice any type of religion, be it Christianity, born again Christian, Muslim. And as a spiritualist, I embrace it all.
Yes.
But what I don't do is exercise superiority. Source is source. Source can be universe, source can be God, source can be goddess, whatever it is to each individual, source is source as far as I'm concerned. There's an almighty energy we're all connected to.
Yes, agree. And you're like so speaking to my energy, because I'm a Christian. We chatted earlier and you were talking about the connection and everything. When it comes to a negative energy, I don't engage it, because it's like, no, I can't, because I know what energy can do. It can drain you. And I've been there, done that it's like, now I say, no, you're not coming here. So I can totally understand that.
Right, because you know what, really where I'm coming from is I don't put labels on it, right? I just identify the different ways people identify, but I don't put labels on it. I deal with people as they show up. I'm a soul seeker. That's how I opened this whole segment.
Yes.
I deal soul to soul.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the meditation that you practice.
So the meditation I practice is customized to my needs. So transcendental meditation does require a ritual in order to practice. And you do go through a training prior to receiving your customized mantra. One of the commitments we all made is to never share what our mantra is.
Mhm.
But I can share with you what the mantra serves as from my experience. Of course, this is my interpretation. And for me, the mantra serves as a captain to keep you grounded,
Mm.
because as you transcend, there is a lot of different thoughts that flash through your mind. And of course, in meditation, the objective is to become the observer. And so, depending on what kind of meditation, you're either designing what it is that you want to think about, or you're stepping out of it.
Mm.
So, in transcendental meditation, I step out and I look at my files, we'll say, right?
Mhm.
And of course, I'm speaking metaphorically, and I'm
Right.
looking at the files, and then I check to see what file is rendering the most space, what needs to be addressed, without giving it too much attention, because again, I'm supposed to be the observer. But if it is grabbing that much attention, then it's something that needs to be addressed when I come
Mhm.
out, right? So then I look to see what needs alignment, and then where it is that I can restore that alignment in whatever act that needs to be taken that I may have overlooked and procrastinating, right? Because we're all
Mm.
human. And so the beauty of having this time with myself, which is a 20-minute practice. Now, technically, you're supposed to transcend twice a day, 20 minutes a day. I don't always do twice a day, but I always do the morning. The morning is how I start my day. And so in that practice, I'm able to really, really see myself and be with myself in a way of securing my existence.
Mhm.
We live in a fear driven world, is what I want to say, since COVID.
So it's like, where are you putting your faith? Where are you putting your belief? Where are you putting your fears? What are you allowing your fears to take over? Right? And the need for us to really take a step back and understand where we're standing, our platform, our Zen. So talk to me about gratitude.
I go through the checklist. And I teach my daughter to go through the checklist. Gratitude sounds superficial, but it's not. If you
Mm.
sit there and you go through a checklist of all the things you are grateful for, I promise you, you will be brought back to present, and you will live in a different light. It's a tool that only works if you're coming from a genuine heart,
Mhm.
a genuine place of gratitude. You can't do gratitude just for the sake of doing gratitude.
It's like,
You have
hey,
to
I'm going to do it right
feel
now.
gratitude. Yeah, you have to be in it, like immersed in that gratitude from a wholehearted place. And I just wanted to clarify that, because I'm offering a tool that, yes, you can sit there and you can write affirmations, but unless you genuinely feel
Mm.
them, all you're doing is writing affirmations.
Yes. Wow. That in itself is powerful.
So then there's the other thing, right? So one of the gifts that I have been granted through my meditation practice is being an open channel to receive, right? So I think it's important for everyone to be conscious of the food that they're putting in their body,
Mm.
because food is medicine.
Mm.
It's fuel and it's medicine.
Mm.
We live in a fast-paced world in which, again, I too, I'm not perfect. I go for the fast stuff from time to time, but I'm very mindful of how much consumption of it I'm allowing my body, because it's in the processed foods that the diseases live in.
Right.
It's better to eat from the earth. And I'm not a full out vegetarian, I'm a
Mhm.
semi. I'm not a pescatarian either. Like, I do eat chicken and turkey and stuff like that. So I don't know what we would consider that, but I eat fish as well. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not a full out vegetarian or vegan for that matter. I'm just very mindful about what I'm putting in my body, everything in moderation, right? So it's mind, body, and then spirit is really, for me, being communing with nature is a big deal. I'm blessed. I live across the street from Central Park.
Mm.
I really became engulfed with the trees and the grass. And as I started researching further, I learned that there are so many benefits hugging trees and walking on grass barefoot. It's not just a thing, it's medicinal. And so I want to say, don't judge people who hug trees if it's not your thing. I promise you hug them, they're gonna ground you.
Yes, and you mentioned a magic word, tree. I am connected and fascinated with trees and the connection to life.
The trees were my solace and my sanctuary throughout the pandemic, because they were the only ones I was able, aside from my daughter, to be affectionate with. Because remember, they banned us from hugging each other.
Yes.
It was unsafe to touch each other. We had to do elbow to elbow or feet to feet. So, all that to say that I think when you're conscious, or you come from this level of consciousness in appreciating the simple things, it just elevates your quality of life. I reference the trees because I'm not an expert of trees, but I have beautiful trees. And then I have certain trees that really I'm connected to. And I honor that. I don't know why I'm connected to them, but guess what? Those are the ones that I'm always going to go, and I'm always going to hug, and I'm going to have a moment with, and I'm going to talk to them for a little bit, and I have beautiful plants in my home. And I understand that plants can communicate amongst each other, according to scientists. So I have a family of plants as well. And so again, going back to nature, going back to the elements, which, we opened up talking about water. They're an essential part of our existence. And when you live in the city, you kind of overlook that. And that is the free way to restore balance. Right? Everybody goes and they pay for the guru and they pay for this and that. And it's like, you know what?
You have some free stuff. It's perspective in life and connection to nature, the peace that it's like my rejuvenation, my restoration, like you said. And so when I go to places that's near water, that's near nature and trees, different types of trees, it's a moment of reflection for me that I come back and I'm like, oh, wow. And it's that moment of Zen.
So imagine if you just made that a part of your everyday. And then it would allow you to just walk in that balance, right? I feel that this is just my way of existing, that there is no light without dark. There is no white without black. Like, life is about balance. It's not about one or the other. Any extreme of each end is imbalance. So the objective is to find the balance, and the balance is different for everyone. It isn't the same for everyone. But when you find that moment that you feel in awe, or that then, as you're referencing, then it is in your best interest to get to that place as often as possible. So if you can make that part of your everyday, you've automatically elevated your quality of life. We are conditioned within society to gauge our quality of life based on success, I want to say through career, finances, material possessions, when in fact is really how you feel inside, and then everything else follows.
And that's my journey. That's always been my journey. And that's why I feel that everybody's success is different. Success to me is not money. That's great, but that's not my success. But for me, being grounded and being a resource for peace for anyone that speaks to me, that is valuable. That is, I get goosebumps because I wanted to capture something. So here's the reasoning for my podcast and an audio version, right? Is because in my career and personal, people are always gravitating to my voice. They're like, oh my gosh, like I just needed to hear your voice because now I feel better. And so I was like, how do I put that in a bottle and sell that? That was my initial thought. And then I was grounded and I was like, wait, no, it's not about selling. And that was just a joke. But I really wanted to see how I could serve more people. And that's the birth of this podcast, which is you can hear that peace, that serenity, that, platform of giving hope to others and how it transcends throughout the masses. And just having you and having this conversation really it puts the icing on top of the cake, because you're just really confirming the reason why I created this. And so I appreciate you for that.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure to reflect it upon you, my dear.
Yes.
And I mean that endearingly
Yes.
because
Yes.
this is your podcast and I appreciate you welcoming me to share this space and time with you and be a reflection of you because truly this is not possible unless we're operating on the same frequency.
Exactly. So again, I truly appreciate you. Are there any, let's say, 2 or 3 things that you would like for the listeners to take away from this moment?
I want to say first and foremost, really live in your truth, right? Not in somebody else's belief of what your truth is, but what you find to be your truth. And that's really requires a certain level of bravery and work because you have to be willing to see it, face it, deal with it, clean it, clear it, remove whatever resin is there from like eons ago so that you can become and be of purpose. In my opinion, I believe that when a person is coming from a place of service and of purpose, that is where their joy truly resides.
Agree.
And at that point, you're unstoppable. You're
Mhm.
unstoppable in your existence. You're unstoppable in just living full out.
Mm.
That looks different for everyone, but the idea is that you're content with yourself.
Yes. Yes.
I like what I see when I look at myself in the mirror.
Mm.
And sometimes I say to myself, damn, girl, you've come a long way.
Mm.
Love you.
Mm.
I really, really love you.
Wow. Just want to take a moment there because that's like, wow.
But it requires,
Work.
once again, you look deep into your eyes when
Mm.
you do that. So the exercise is, when I leave this podcast, is for you and for anyone else listening to look at themselves in the mirror deeply, deeply, look deep into your own eyes and send light to yourself
Mm.
and recognize there's a little person that grew into who you are, right? I don't want to exclude men and our non-gender conformed
Mhm.
individuals because it's all about accepting and most importantly, patting yourself on the back and reminding yourself, I've come a long way and I'm here. I survived and I still carry joy in my heart. And I love you. I love you. I love, 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 love you with every inch of my being in the mirror.
Wow. I'm definitely going to do that. And I hope that our listeners try that because that's important and it's key that you accept yourself, that you accept and hold on to that joy that you bring to yourself. And the reality that we're not made all alike and we're supposed to be unique and different. Even if society makes it seem like, oh, we fit in one box or the other. For me, there is no box that I fit in. It's my own journey, my own path. And so I'm very thankful that you shared everything that you shared today because that's how I live my life. I don't allow anybody to box me in, and I practice gratitude daily because it's the essence of who I am and how that is shared with others. And so it took me time to understand how all of that is connected. And purpose is the essence of who we are. And that's nothing compared to what money brings.
Actually, there is no price for it. And that's why it's important for all of us to find your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
With that, people can't penetrate through that. Like, it's unpenetrable, right? And with regards to gratitude, I always remind my daughter, right? Again, she's a 14-year-old, and I'll leave you with this. It's like, I encourage her to exercise gratitude, write down 5 things you're grateful for, but be in them, live in them, because it is gratitude that brings you to the present.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught that anxiety is worrying about the future and depression is replaying the past. And in order to be in the present, in the now, tools such as gratitude, they bring you into the present. And the present is what our life is, a present.
Mm. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh, I am so excited that you are here. And I can't wait to see all the special projects that you have coming up. I'm definitely going to be looking online and hope to see you soon and connect with you soon again. The last time we met in person, it was just truly magical. I know we've connected twice. I just can't wait to see you again and give you a big hug. So thank you. I appreciate you for being here. And how can they connect with you?
So I am available on all social media platforms at Rhina Valentin, and that's exactly how it is on all platforms. And my name, though, is spelled Rhina Valentin, like Valentine without the E. Don't let it autocorrect, at Rhina Valentin.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that you're Boricua, and that shows even more connection. So thank you for that. And so, with that said, thank you again, everyone, for listening, and stay tuned for more of Inspired by Jacqueline. Make sure to follow, to subscribe, to share, to download, and most importantly, comment. So, take care and see you in the next episode of Inspired by Jacqueline. Take